Today, many are hesitant to venture into seas and oceans, knowing that sharks lurk. However, present-day oceans and seas are nothing compared to those that existed during the Jurassic period. Back then, sharks were not only present, but also carnivorous Ichthyosaurs, and the even more terrifying Pliosaurs. This group of marine reptiles were characterized by massive heads, streamlined bodies, and short necks. Many of them ended up becoming the top dogs in their respective environments, but a few were especially successful, including one of the most ferocious and biggest pliosaur to ever live, the Liopleurodon. This beast is well known in the world of paleontology, and has become quite infamous in recent years. However, it was actually described and named rather early on by the French paleontologist Henri Sauvage, who based his discovery on 3 separate teeth. Thus, not only did he declare a new genus, but he also made 3 Liopleurodon species. However, basing a species on 1 tooth isn't a great idea, and thus, through the years, as skulls, necks, and other fossils started to be discovered, it was clear that Henry's original claim of 3 species was incorrect. Eventually, only one of the original 3 remained, Liopleurodon ferox, though it would not stand alone for long, because in the late 1800s, a specimen was found that was clearly a Liopleurodon, yet its teeth and vertebrae were slightly different from those of the holotype. This led to the creation of the only other known Liopleurodon species, Pachydairus, although there have been some claims stating that it's not different enough to be considered a new species. With all this activity surrounding the Liopleurodon, one would assume it caught people's attention quickly. However, it actually stayed in the shadows for quite a while, until it found instant fame in 1999, following the release of Walking with Dinosaurs. However, with its fame, the real Liopleurodon became clouded, as its portrayal brought on new questions regarding its size. The show depicted it as a 25-meter or 82-foot long monster, which if true would have made it bigger than most whales. However, even in 1999, this was regarded by most as a dubious estimate, as it was based on very fragmented remains. Eventually, more believable estimates were made. However, because of the lack of fossils, the revised guesses were still questionable. Nevertheless, they were much more modest than the original proposal, and stated that the largest Liopleurodon would have been around 10 meters or 33 feet, though in recent times, paleontologists have once again lowered the numbers because a more complete specimen was found, giving scientists a better idea of just how large this creature truly was. The specimen was about 6.39 meters or 21 feet long, and based on its head-to-body ratio, paleontologists calculated the sizes of other Liopleurodons whose skeletons were not as complete, and noted that the largest would have been around 7.5 meters or 25 feet long. While this is a far cry from the massive depiction seen in Walking with Dinosaurs, the corrected size still makes the Liopleurodon bigger than great white sharks, with larger individuals even outsizing the largest great white ever recorded. And the fact is, only a handful of Liopleurodons have been discovered, which is why some think there are larger specimens out there. Additionally, the Liopleurodon is thought to have weighed almost twice as much as a car, thus it was still very imposing. After all, there is a reason it belongs to a clade of Pliosaurs known as the Thalassophonia, which translates to sea murderers. Along with being a sea murderer, the Liopleurodon is believed to have been the apex predator in its environments, courtesy of its stature. However, its size was not the only useful trait it had. For starters, as a trade-off for not being a blue whale-sized behemoth, the Liopleurodon had mobility, which helped it while hunting. It was further aided by its 4 large, nearly identical flippers, and studies on the flippers and its presumed swimming style indicated that although the Liopleurodon would not have been great at swimming long distances at a quick pace, it would have been excellent at short bursts of lightning speed, leading paleontologists to believe that it hunted by ambushing unsuspecting prey. And it had another handy adaptation for its ambushes, which was, for lack of better words, its smell. On the Liopleurodon's giant skull were 2 highly specialized nostrils, which allowed the Liopleurodon to scan the water for the scent of potential victims, which it could then zero in on, ambush, and strike with its third but most important hunting tool, its mouth. As mentioned, the Liopleurodon had a massive skull, and as a result, it sported a robust jaw, which gave it one deadly bite. This is not a surprise, since it has long been thought that the Pliosaurs had monstrous bites, and the Liopleurodon definitely fits the bill. And even though no concrete research has been done to see just how hard it could bite, there is indirect evidence that reflects its power. The first piece of evidence was that its teeth were deeply rooted in its mouth, so they could withstand a lot of damage and pressure while biting down. Additionally, the teeth were slightly curved, wide and smooth with some cutting edges, perfect for puncturing through flesh, armor, and bone. The titanic jaw and deadly teeth made the Liopleurodon capable of attacking virtually anything, and as a result, it had a diverse diet that greatly varied in size. Furthermore, there is even direct evidence of Liopleurodon attacks, which have given paleontologists a unique look into its diet. One such attack was indicated by the presence of bite marks on the bones of a Cryptocletus, a 1-ton plesiosaur. The Liopleurodon was also ambitious enough to go after the largest swimmer in the seas, the Leadsichthys, a ray-finned fish bigger than whale sharks, though clearly it was not large enough to scare the Liopleurodon, as one specimen was found with bite marks matching those of the Liopleurodon. And what was even more interesting was that the marks had healed, meaning the Liopleurodon had attacked it while it was still alive. There have also been Leadsichthys found with unhealed bite marks that appear to have come from large Pliosaurs, leading some to believe that the Liopleurodon also scavenged from this behemoth. Though, despite clearly liking big game, the Liopleurodon probably ate anything it could catch, including smaller marine life, and because of the number of animals found alongside its remains, paleontologists believe the list of prey is very extensive. The location of discovered Liopleurodons showed that it lived in the shallow seas of Jurassic Europe, being concentrated in England, France, and Germany, with the most well-studied location being the Oxford Clay Formation in England. Research there has confirmed that it coexisted with many creatures, including, in addition to the previously mentioned prey, fish, Plesiosaurs, Thalattosuchians, Ichthyosaurs, and a mix of Pliosaurs. Most of the other Oxford Pliosaurs, like the Cymolestes, were clearly not as big as the Liopleurodon. However, one of them was the Plesiosaurus, which caught people's attention, as the Plesiosaurus is known to many as being larger than Liopleurodon. However, it was actually composed of a few different species, and the one known to hail from the Oxford Clay Formation is Pliosaurus andrewsi, which was actually smaller, meaning that for now, Liopleurodon is the largest known predator from this habitat. This allowed it to live in leisure and spend its days cruising through the warm shallow seas, which on average were 50 meters or 160 feet deep. Its success is also reflected by its temporal range, which is believed to have lasted from 166 to 155 million years ago, meaning it existed during the Middle and Late Jurassic. It was clearly a very successful predator who had a large influence on its ecosystem, even if it wasn't the kaiju-like animal Walking with Dinosaurs originally painted it to be.